All right, gang. It's not looking too good for Kash, Patel, and us because he's the leader of the FBI, the director of the FBI, and he be lying to us, just dead to our face. These people lied under oath. I don't like none of them. And it's crazy because I really did originally like that they got someone that had like a social media presence and brought them inside, and I felt like that the people were actually getting a word with this, but no, it was the total opposite, brother. Smash that like button. Let's see what we got going on, bro. How bad is this nigga Kash Patel, bro?
For most people, becoming the head of the FBI sounds like a dream job. The kind of thing a kid imagines to be when he grows up, without really knowing what the role actually demands. As an individual in charge of 37,000 employees across 55 US field offices, it's one of the most esteemed positions in the USA, and has proven to be no easy task for anyone. And right now, the man running the FBI is someone that many human rights groups did not want on the job. Not to mention, everyone in America that didn't vote for the current president. And now, it looks like he's on a mission to prove to everyone why it was such a terrible idea. Because as the pressure mounts and the scrutiny intensifies, he keeps giving the public, and even other officials, grounds to make a mockery of him at every turn.
This week, Congress heard testimony from Kash Patel, FBI director and man who looks like he just walked in on his parents having sex with a
Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
We are releasing as much as legally allowed. That's why we went back to
how is
court.
How is that not legally allowed?
Sir, do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders
Actually,
work? You know
Mr. Patel, I was a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how.
So I was a fake one?
Why are you protecting pedophiles?
That is maybe the most offensive thing you could say to me.
How many times did President Trump's name appear in the Epstein files? Was it more than 100, more than 1,000?
It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
While claims of incompetence are one thing, the real reason why his tenure in the office might go down as historically bad comes from not stupidity, but corruption. And at the moment, it looks like he said one thing to get in power and turned the leaf once he actually obtained it.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. This is another government gangster operation.
It's your boy Luesta, and this is why Kash Patel might go down as the worst FBI director ever.
Sucks.
But first, a little context on not only who he is, but how this unqualified individual got the job in the first place. The son of first-generation immigrants, Kash went through Pace University's School of Law, then worked as a public defender and later a federal prosecutor. And in 2007, he joined the House Intelligence Committee as an aide, living in relative obscurity on Capitol Hill until he suddenly landed on Trump's radar after helping write the Nunes Memo, a document meant to discredit the investigation into Trump's ties with Russia. This memo totally vindicates Trump in a probe, said a tweet from the president's account, but the Russian witch hunt goes on and on. There was no collusion and there was no obstruction. This is an American disgrace. From there, he was essentially a made man in Trump's camp. And on top of becoming chief of staff to the Secretary of Defense, he even spun his Russiagate fame into a children's book praising the president called The Plot Against the King, where he cast himself as Kash the Knight. Yeah, seriously. There he is on the cover, dressed as some kind of evil wizard, while an evil Hillary Clinton looms over them. This somehow led to a trilogy of books on the subject. Later, he launched a fund to...
That shit had 2 stars. The shit sucks. That shows how much Trump is... I'm not going to say something's wrong with him because it'd be a method to his madness. He got somebody like that because he know that he can manipulate that same person. And that is being done right now. It's being done right now. Oh my God. And then the amount of like dick eat that you do for another man just to get in a certain position is really crazy. Knowing damn well that nigga is not perfect. That is so crazy to me.
Support people charged in the January 6th Capitol riot, arguing that Democrats were the ones to blame for the chaos, all because they supposedly turned down extra protection.
Well, actually, President Trump preemptively authorized 10 to 20,000 National Guard. And what happened? I spent the next 3 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees testifying before Congress, proving up just what I had said was the truth. Then the documents came. We finally got them out because I know what we had written. And it showed Bowser, in writing, declining National Guard. It showed Pelosi, in writing, saying no to the Capitol Police. Don't get the National Guard.
So they wanted it to be chaos.
Well, that I'll leave to you on that. But what I'm telling you is they knew what was true. They knew what was false.
But even after Kash was out of a job, he never stopped writing for Trump. In April 2022, he took on the role of director at Trump Media and Technology Group, all while pushing hard for Trump's comeback through podcasts and his own show, Kash's Corner, on the Epic TV network.
After Trump left the White House, Kash Patel remains one of his biggest boosters.
I am honored to be here in support of Donald J. Trump. He is being victimized.
Along the way, he also wrote the controversial book, Government Gangsters, The Deep State, The Truth, and the Battle for Our Democracy, which even included an appendix listing over 50 current and former US officials he labeled as part of the so-called executive branch deep state, calling them a dangerous threat to democracy. Given how hard he would ride for him and the way their priorities were aligned, it's easy to understand why Trump wanted him as an FBI director.
Kash Patel would be an FBI director unlike any other.
And we're going to make the FBI great again.
He's been such a fierce critic of the FBI for years.
We are going to end the two-tier system of justice. We are going to remove the weaponization of the intelligence community for political purposes.
Vowing to fire the leadership of the agency, empty out the headquarters, and radically redirect what the FBI does and how it does it. But even more unusual than those views are his path to this point and how he got this.
Very unusual.
In fact, this wasn't even the first time Trump tried to push this fierce FBI critic into the bureau. During his last presidency, he wanted Patel as deputy director, but ended up parking him in a Homeland Security role instead. On Trump's second try, he went all in and tapped Patel to run the entire bureau. Patel was narrowly confirmed in a 51-49 party line vote, with just 2 Republicans siding with all the Democrats against him. Suddenly, Kash was responsible for investigating federal crimes on matters like racketeering, fraud, public corruption, illegal financial schemes, organized crime, and a whole lot more. So it's safe to say that he was overjoyed as he was sworn in.
His ear is big as hell.
First and foremost, we were just with President Trump, and I just want to thank him. I know he's not here in the room right now, but what a ride we have been on, what a courageous warrior and leader he has been, and the faith and trust he has put in me to lead the FBI is the greatest honor that I'll ever have in my life.
Shit next to
I am living the American dream. And anyone that thinks the American dream is dead, just look right here. You're talking to a first-generation Indian kid who's about to lead the law enforcement community, the greatest nation on God's green earth. That can't happen anywhere else.
In his speech, he also saluted Attorney General Pam Bondi, swearing to uphold the FBI's values above all else.
But she's an
and to General Bondi, that sounds pretty freaking cool. Pam, you're my sister, you're my mentor, you're my friend. You're my boss, and the confidence you have placed in me, I will never violate trust. The men and women of the FBI will be led under your leadership through one standard, the Constitution. So thank you for entrusting me, Pam.
But while it was no doubt impressive that he became the first person of color to become FBI director, it's fair to say that not everyone saw him as the aspirational figure that he believes himself to be, including some people who share his surname.
Let's talk about our main man, Kash Patel, the future director of the FBI. Kash Patel, if you don't know, is the first Patel I've ever encountered where every other Patel was like, nah, f that guy. I don't know if you people know anything about Patels, but Patels love other Patels. Like, oh, you're a Patel, I'm a Patel, let's hang out.
The reason for this wasn't simply petty, but because as soon as he was sworn in, there was an immediate wariness over what it meant for democracy.
Kash Patel, and I don't say this lightly, is the most dangerous nominee that we've seen yet to our democracy.
We're talking about somebody who has espoused QAnon conspiracy theories,
saying that the 2020 election was stolen.
He has no other agenda but revenge.
Somebody who says he's going to throw judges in jail, he's going to throw bureaucrats in jail, he's going to throw reporters in jail.
Particularly when you consider how much he vowed to shake it up. But as it turns out, his time in charge has been less about being the radical whistleblower that he claimed he'd be, and instead saw him forced to uphold the levels of secrecy that Kash had once said he would debunk. In the lead up to taking the post, Kash vowed to shut down its headquarters on day one and turned it into a museum of the deep state. But while all that seemed radical, it's fair to say the biggest concern came from how he'd focus his tenure in the chair, as make no mistake, an FBI director being this interlinked with the president is not commonplace.
The FBI tries to maintain a degree of independence from the political leadership of the country. Some FBI directors, there were things that they would not discuss directly with the president or wouldn't discuss alone with the president. If Kash Patel is confirmed, he would be the first FBI director in many decades to have this close of a relationship with the president.
After Patel took office, an FBI
if you really be paying attention to some of these depositions and when one branch of government is talking to another, or the FBI is talking to these, they don't really like each other. Like, if you can get that underlying feeling, like, they don't really be feeling each other. I be peeping that, and I'm like, you know what though? And I think that the FBI and or CIA smoked the shit out JFK and MLK. This nigga is probably like, you know what, bro? I'm not trying to, you know, maybe I'm better on their team. Maybe I'm better on their team so I don't get backdoored. So he put someone that he could manipulate literally in that same spot. I'm going to be honest. You could do anything at that point. At that point. The nigga is actually pretty tactical. I'll give it to him. He a weirdo, though.
Insider explained that in some administrations, the president doesn't keep a tight grip on the bureau. In those cases, it's really the attorney general calling the shots, while the president and senior staff mostly just trust the FBI director to do their job and don't see it as a top priority. And then there are other times where the president really wants to know what the FBI director is doing, making sure that they are moving on the priorities that the president sets. But again, that has to be confined to staying within the Constitution and staying within the FBI internal guidelines.
They have a lot
with both
of
the
laws
Attorney
to protect
General, the FBI Director, and the President all so tightly wound together, it seemed like he was set to serve one man and one man alone.
Literally.
Since the FBI is supposed to stay nonpartisan, meaning that it should not lean towards one political party or serve just one leader, Patel's appointment caused an uproar. A Senate Judiciary Committee article even argued that Kash Patel, a quote-unquote radical extremist, would twist the FBI into a weapon against Trump's enemies instead of serving the American people. Alongside declaring that Patel had virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency, several big names voiced their concerns. National Security Advisor John Bolton said bluntly, "I didn't think he was qualified. He demonstrated no policy aptitude at all. I was forced to hire him."
Damn!
The Deputy National Security Advisor, Charles Cooperman, added, "The idea that he is going to become the FBI director is appalling. His legal career is modest at best. His ideas are ludicrous." Even CIA Director Gina Haspel threatened to resign when Trump floated making Patel Deputy Director of the CIA. And to make matters worse, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, the second highest ranking Democrat in the Senate, and the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, released a statement warning that Patel was an extreme MAGA loyalist who would actually make the country less safe. Kash Patel is an extreme MAGA loyalist who would make our country less safe. He's blindly loyal to Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. He has a trail of grievances and a history of lashing out at those who don't agree with him. That's not the kind of nonpartisan law enforcement professional who should lead the FBI. Despite the concerns, he initially had the conservative camp on side, with his combative style seeming to them like the antidote to big government bureaucracy.
This one I
Bits
like.
of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent
Well,
process.
if you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcripts.
You've got 2 minutes.
Wow.
They're not gonna get away with gaslighting anymore. Love it. People are finally being put in their place. However, in the 7 months since that bold move, enough has happened that even people like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett now feel Kash has already overstayed his welcome.
I don't have any confidence in you.
I liked her,
if we
yeah,
start
she was
talking
on him.
about the reasons that I lack confidence, we could start with you not just wanting to acknowledge some simple facts. Simple facts like the vast majority of the threats are coming from right-wing extremism. So I'm confused about what it is that the FBI is doing except for trying to put on a show for The Apprentice or whatever you want to call him.
But while it would be one thing for a Democratic member of Congress to want to oust him, the real problem is that through what they see as his evasiveness and dishonesty, many of those on the right also believe it's time for him to go, and maybe even face criminal charges over his conduct. When it comes to the unraveling of Kash Patel's public persona, much of it comes down to one thing, and that's the U-turn he's done on the Epstein files. Before he came into power, the documents, which are alleged to unveil everything to do with the disgraced financier and PDF file, along with his network of high-profile contacts, were a major talking point for Kash.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list, they're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? That's when I know he was. And why is it that the Senate, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything.
But since he came to power, the new party...
once I seen that, and then I seen when he goes into the FBI director, and then he goes to Joe Rogan, and then he say some bullshit. He said yeah, there are no files. He said some absolute bullshit after he got in there. I'm like, oh, this guy's full of shit. Oh, this guy cannot be trusted. This nigga got what he want, and now he's literally doing a whole, 180? Whole 180. What the fuck happened? This nigga's crazy.
Line is that the Epstein files don't actually exist, and that Pam Bondi never had them sat on her desk as she once claimed. And unfortunately, Kash has been sent out there to try and defend this in congressional hearings. And let's just say that it hasn't been going well. In one infamous incident, he was roasted by Thomas Massie, a fellow Republican.
You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada.
And when he hasn't been at the mercy of this kind of onslaught, he's been acting in unmeasured ways that aren't what you'd expect from an FBI director.
And this is so crazy. People are like, oh yeah, I'm tired of this. This Epstein file should know, bro. You need to see this because you need to understand that if you don't got no money, you don't got no assets, no nothing, you will never have a say. You will never be shit. That's exactly why they be looking at us like that, bro. These people have so much money, so much assets, and somebody say, you know what, bro, we gonna let you slide. Nigga, if I shot somebody today, nigga, I'm going to jail twice, nigga, for a long time. Long time.
Before a committee.
And in closing, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee and Ranking Member Durbin, I'm honored to be the 9th director of the FBI. I'm not going anywhere. If you want to criticize my 16 years of service, please bring it on. Over to you.
Normally, this kind of fiery approach might fire up his supporters, but not this time. Instead, the fact that he looks like he's just making it up as he goes along is only making things worse.
He looking like a dickhead.
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
He's a liar.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney General's file. It's a simple question.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
Yes or no, brother?
During many conversations
yes or no,
that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in theEpstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
You still didn't answer the question.
Or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
Now it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the...
Like now he just sounding stupid. You doing the ABCs and shit, bro. You are supposed to be the FBI director, bro, and you can't even fight back right now with a logical argument. Or just say yes or no. You can't say yes or no, bro, because you don't want to lie plainly under oath and they trying to back you into that corner, knowing damn well you know what it is. This nigga, I can't stand this nigga, man.
Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files.
Why don't you try serving your constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are legally harbored in your sanctuary cities in California? I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman.
I
belong to the gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
And as each member of the committee took their turn, it became increasingly obvious that they weren't buying his version of events.
So your testimony here is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released?
How are they not under a protective order?
Why are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those records?
The DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are hiding the Epstein files, Mr. Patel.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
As he flailed around before the committee, he was cornered over Ghislaine Maxwell and the decision to move her to a low-security prison, one which he attempted to divert away from him at all costs.
Let me ask you one last question. Right after she gives this
testimony,
it wasn't she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
But perhaps the moment where he finally lost, even his most ardent supporters, came when he was believed to be flagrantly lying over the idea that Epstein was a trafficker at all.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case
$3 million?
Okay.
And this would have been bad enough without him contradicting himself by then referring to the fact that there was a network in place.
Jeffrey Epstein was out for 12 years, and the Obama and Biden administration did nothing to look at his work, his pedophile network. If you want to blame me, that's fine.
As things went from bad to worse, even the very people Kash's appointment was supposed to win over, like Republican subreddits, began churning on him and mocking the whole idea of his vanity appointment. As these clips emerged, he seemed to be losing the support of the president's base, with many of them wondering if it's a sad indictment of where the political landscape is going, leaving credentials on the sidelines in favor of name value. He's a guy who talked a ton of shit on podcasts, then actually got into the position of power and realized he couldn't back any of it up. Armchair quarterbacking is easy, but since social media rules the world, and that's where people get famous, expect more and more of these people to get put in positions of power. I guarantee whoever wins in 2028 will have people saying this, when it should be an experienced/skilled guy nobody knows. And just as it couldn't get worse, Cory Booker came for his neck, and let it be known that his tenure might be short-lived.
I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts. that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying.
falsehoods.
Oh,
You want
you can try all
to
you
the
want
division of this country.
to not take
It is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
you
time is.
Senator-
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be in charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you,
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
At one stage, the committee even waved his children's book around to further undermine him.
While most other new FBI directors drew on their experience as FBI agents, you didn't have that. But you did write a picture book trilogy for children ages 5 and up based on your experience clashing with President Trump's political enemies. In your book, you describe your literary alter ego, Kash the Knight, as a wacky, easily bored wizard carrying out King Donald's vengeance by driving his enemies out of the kingdom. In the books, King Donald is besieged by the evil Hillary Queentown, but saved in the end by Kash. Then Kash goes on to catch mules who are stealing the 2020 election for the great King Donald from Sleepy Joe. And then in the third book, Kash takes down the Dragon of the Jalapenos, nicknamed the DOJ. Your supporters had hoped that you would graduate from imagining yourself a romantic fairy tale knight to actually running America's premier federal law enforcement agency. Alas, just as we've learned how dangerous it is to put a science-denying anti-vaxxer in charge of our public health, we've learned how dangerous it is to name as director of the FBI a man who thinks of himself as a fairy tale knight who keeps a fire-breathing dragon named DOJ at home to forcibly drive villains out of the kingdom.
Amid the bombardment he took, talk turned.
Listen, man, we gonna get into part 2, all right? I will say, though, this should help you understand, bro. You need to get something to stand on, brother. And I'm not talking about $100. I'm not talking about $1,000. I'm not even talking about $10,000, gang. You need to get something to stand on, bro, or you will get stepped the fuck on, nigga. And I'm taking that shit personal. I'm taking that shit very personal. That you can lie in favor of another man because he has money and network. It is crazy to me. But if I did the same thing, I would be in jail for an extended amount of time, especially because of how I look, gang. So smash that like button. I'll catch y'all next one, maybe.